Well, I've got an article here from Al Jazeera. The heading is Israel is taking scorched earth policy to a new level. Gaza is not the first place where Israel is inflicting or helping inflict mass devastation, but it is the first to see it on this shocking scale. They show you an image there, and it's the usual bird's eye view image of a bombed out area in Gaza. The people standing on it. Palestinians gather at a site of Israeli strikes on the houses in Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip on December the 14th, 2023. In October, shortly after the start of the Israeli war on Gaza, it has now killed nearly 20,000 Palestinians. Israel pledged to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth. Yeah, the pigs fly. A project that would require Israel's military to flatten the ground in Gaza, as an Israeli security source told the Reuters news agency. And flatten they did. 1 month into the war, the military had already dropped the equivalent of 2 nuclear bombs on the diminutive and densely populated Palestinian coastal enclave. And who made it an enclave? The people who invaded their country. Now, as Israel continues to pulverise an already thoroughly pulverised territory, it seems the Israelis may be taking the concept of scorched earth policy to a whole new level. And there are there's another 4 headlines here. Top 1, starving Palestinians loot aid trucks as desperation mounts in Gaza's Rafah. France calls for Gaza truce and condemns the killing of a worker in Israel attack. Israel's Netanyahu hints a new deal underway. Yeah, I've heard about that one. To release Gaza hostages. If I were Hamas, I would say no. Because he's only going to do a truce for a day or 2 days, and that's that. It's only to his benefit to try and keep him in his job. No. If he was going to do a complete and utter truce, a permanent truce, fair enough, then get his soldiers the hell away from all Palestinian areas. But he won't do that, so no, I would say no. But Hamas is bought and paid for by Israel anyway many decades ago, so they'll go ahead and they'll agree to that, obviously. Doing no favour to Palestinians, of course. According to the Oxford Reference Dictionary, the term scorched earth policy was first utilised in English in 1937 in a report describing the Sino-Japanese conflict, in which the Chinese levelled their own cities and burnt crops in order to complicate the Japanese invasion. The strategy has since been seen as an array of armed conflicts worldwide, including the 36-year civil war in Guatemala that ended in 1996 after killing and disappearing more than 200,000 people, primarily indigenous males. It just so happens that. So the Guatemalans were wanting shot of them, obviously. The usual. Well, at least Israel was doing it in front of the eyes of the whole world with the Palestinians. disappearing them. In 2013, former Guatemalan dictator and United States buddy Efren Rios Montt, who oversaw a particularly bloody segment of the war in the early 1980s, was found guilty of genocide in a Guatemalan court, and while subsequent judicial machinations and Rios Montt's own death by heart attack saved the man from earthly atonement for his crimes, you might say the truth is not so easily wiped off the face of the earth. Indeed, Scorched earth was a primary component of the Guatemalan army's genocidal approach to its adversaries, and hundreds of indigenous villages were destroyed, along with water supplies, crops, and anything else that might sustain life. See, they took somebody to the court for that. See, that's the thing. We talk about they taking people to court for human rights abuses. They are the human rights abusers anyway, the Zionists. They own the ICC, the International Criminal Court. They own it all. They made it. They created it. And they own its arse. They own all the United Nations, the World Health Organization. So the same people own it. All the monsters of the day. And that's who's running their countries also. And what do you know? Guatemalan state savagery was boosted by none other than the state of Israel, which after all already had several decades of experience in eradicating indigenous life in Palestine. Making the desert bloom. Yeah, that was actually stated, by the way. I'm sure it was a woman that said that actually within the Israeli government years ago. They wanted to make the desert bloom, and that's what they meant, getting rid of all the Palestinians. As journalist Gabriel Chabon notes in an article for the North American Congress on Latin America, not only did Israeli advisors help ensure the success of the 1982 military coup that brought Rios Montt to power, but Israel also assisted every facet of attack on the Guatemalan people from the late 1970s into the next decade. I wonder how much they get paid for that. They obviously weren't doing it free, were they? For successful Guatemalan governments, Chabon writes, Israel had become the main provider of counter-insurgency training, light and heavy arsenals of weaponry, aircraft and state-of-the-art intelligence, technology and infrastructure, and other vital assistance. In keeping with the desert blooming variety of blasphemy, which it is because Palestine is a holy land, Israel is not a fucking holy land. It's not a holy land anymore, and that's why it's not a holy land. Because somebody came in, destroyed it, and changed the name. It's not the Holy Land. The Roman Catholics have church, the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope and all the rest of it can call Israel the Holy Land all the bloody well like. The Zionists that don't give a shit about God or religion or anything else, they're the ones that advertise Israel as the Holy Land. It's not. There is no Holy Land anymore, thanks to Zionism and what they've done so far over a 75-year period. There's no such thing anymore as a Holy Land. There was. Even Bethlehem, they've shut down Christmas this year. They're not going to celebrate Christmas this year in Bethlehem. It's not happening. And that's in the West Bank, because the IDF is crawling all over their arses. And they're expecting something to happen over there too. That's why. Bethlehem, where it all began in the first place, where Christmas began in the first place, wouldn't be celebrating Christmas this year at all. In keeping with the desert blooming variety of blasphemy, Israel was also credited, and that's anti-Semitism, by the way, Israel, and anybody who follows Israel, of course it is. You can't just destroy a Holy Land and then call other people anti-Semites. Come off it. It doesn't work that way. Israel was also credited with assisting Guatemala in agricultural endeavours during the Civil War era, since there's clearly nothing better for agriculture than, scorched earth and some dead natives' bodies. Yeah. What are they doing? Digging them all into the soil? Growing crops in it? Wouldn't be surprised. Nothing would surprise me about Israel. Not a damn thing. Meanwhile, in neighbouring El Salvador, the United States supposedly existential fight against communism. Come off it, man. During the Cold War, also enabled right-wing regimes to slaughter a whole lot of peasants. And like in Guatemala, Israel was standing by to offer a helping hand to the United States, including in the implementation of scorched earth policies. Yeah. Evil little shits, a lot of them. Yeah. And that's not hate speech either. That is the truth. We all know that. An AG plus video, Al Jazeera plus probably, draws attention to the fact that Israel helped train ANSI, the Salvadorian intelligence agency, that would lay the foundation for death squads during El Salvador's own 12-year civil war, which killed at least 75,000 people and ended in 1992. According to the video from 1975, until the start of the Civil War in 1979, Israel was the source of a full 83% of El Salvador's military imports. Yeah, one guess where they'd be getting them from? America. Oh yeah, here we go. The vast majority of wartime killings were perpetrated by the US-backed right-wing state. Israel's not right-wing. And why don't they call it for what it is? It's far right. It's far right. What they've done in Gaza so far is not right-wing. It's far right. What they've done over a 75-year period is not right-wing. Murdering and raping women and children, and even 14, 15-year-old boys. What do you call that right-wing? Or do you call that far right? Or do you just call that pedo-perverted bastards? There's a point. You should Google that, by the way. Yeah, Google. Yeah, we're on YouTube, owned by Google, Yeah. Yeah, you can't get out of that one, Google. It's all over your servers, by the way. All this information that I talk about is all over your servers. Jesus. So anyway, where was it? Yeah. Yeah, the US-backed right-wing state. It's far right and associated paramilitary groups. Associated paramilitary groups of Israel. I wonder what they are. We're not just talking about IDF, obviously. It doesn't say group. And besides, they like to call that their army, which is obviously not. That's how they like to see themselves, as a real country with a real army, but it's not. So, what are these other paramilitary groups then? I wonder, other than the IDF. According to this, that's where it mentions the US-backed right-wing state, which is not. It's far right. It's a far right state, and associated paramilitary groups, not one group, but more than one group with an S at the end. So I wonder who the other ones are then. I wouldn't. Of course, it's not. It's not lying. Actually, it's not lying. All the little blue and white rag wavers can shout out all they like about that. That's not lying. And I will get to the bottom of that one. That's very interesting to find out who the hell they are. It goes without saying, of course, that Scorched earth campaigns are deadly, and sometimes that deadlines outlives the conflict itself. Take Vietnam, where the US military's quite literal scorching of the earth with the toxic defoliant Agent Orange continued to cause miscarriages, birth defects, and severe illnesses decades after the official end of the Vietnam War in 1975. Yeah, but Americans were evil bastards, just the way the Israelis are today. Of course. It's a wonder they don't have any of that left stored away over a decades, bloody Agent Orange to give to bloody Israelis, isn't it? I mean, you got to laugh at it. Who was it? Whose bright idea was it to outlaw white phosphorus? And who actually made sure it got outlawed? America. Just so happens, doesn't it? So, America outlaws white phosphorus like it's outlawed a lot of things, and I can guarantee it's still got stocks of a lot of things that they outlawed, made sure got outlawed around the world, because they're still giving them, obviously, the images of someone who's been hit by white phosphorus is something else. I don't know. Yeah. And that's Israel that's been dropping it over in Gaza. None of the doctors were lying when they started talking about it to Al Jazeera and other news agencies, and one or two that are over there. They weren't lying when they stated it at first. And then pictures came out. There are pictures freely available. Again, on Google. Okay, Google. Yeah, it's all freely available on Google servers. Yeah. So that's the end of that anyway. But yeah, the Scottish Earth policy. Yeah, it's not over yet. According to someone 3 days ago from that stupid so-called government, they were talking about it possibly lasting longer than 7 months to go. So you're talking about July or August or something next year. Makes you wonder how many Palestinians are going to be left in Gaza by then. It does, it really does. Yeah, and they've got a little link there. Agent Orange is highlighted in blue. So if you don't know what Agent Orange is, you can click it. And it will tell you all about it, no doubt. Don't know where it will take you. We'll find out in a minute where it will take you. Al Jazeera's got a video about Agent Orange. Lasts for 46 minutes and 11 seconds. That's where it takes you. So it's good that Al Jazeera actually exists. Oh, wait a minute, here's more of it. There's more of it. There was a big grey bit there. I thought that was the end of it. In Iraq, the US's use of depleted uranium munitions might also qualify as a scorched earth policy of sorts, but saturating a territory in radioactive poison doesn't do much to ensure its long-term habitability. Speaking of poisons, the Washington Post recently confirmed that the Israeli military fired US supplied white phosphorus. Yeah, I know, I was talking about that a minute ago there. Rounds at southern Lebanon in October, despite the use of such weapons in civilian areas being generally prohibited under international humanitarian law. And that's what I'm saying. Who did that? America. And yet they've still got tons of this stuff lying about. And it has been used in Gaza. Yep, it's mentioned down there. As per the Post write-up, South Lebanese residents affected by the attack speculated that the phosphorus was meant to displace them from the village and to clear the way for future Israeli military activity in the area. Oh yeah, another takeover, probably. It certainly wouldn't be the first time in Lebanon or in the Gaza Strip, which has seen its fair share of illegal white phosphorus bombardments by Israel. As the Israeli military now carries on scorching and re-scorching the earth in Gaza and the humans therein along with it, there is a singularity that distinguishes Israel's efforts from scorched earth experiments of the past. And El Salvador, for example, the army's goal was never to eliminate the very concept of El Salvador, whereas Israel appears intent on annihilating Gaza altogether. Yeah, it'll be the same with the West Bank eventually. They want to annihilate. It's not them in particular. It's the Zionists that control Israel, the Israeli government, Benjamin Netanyahu. All those government ministers within his government they all originate from different countries around the world. Any other government anywhere in the world, all its government ministers would be as its prime minister as of that country, born of that country. They're not. I'm beginning to wonder, are they there to keep him in line? And I can guarantee you, whoever replaces him as a prime minister will be Israeli too. But whoever replaces any of those ministers around Benjamin Netanyahu won't be replaced by Israelis. They will again be replaced by people outside of Israel. Zionists, obviously, probably to keep an eye on the new Israeli Prime Minister. So I don't think Netanyahu has ever been the boss somehow. I don't think so. Says here, but unfortunately for Israel, resistance is one thing that can grow in scorched earth. Yeah. Yeah, but the resistance of a people that's getting smaller by the bloody day. Not a good that is. They've got nothing to fight back with in the first place, so resistance or no resistance, they can't win. It's not possible, it's not feasible, it's not practical for it to turn out. It's a bit like, only this is a lot worse than stupid Ukrainians. The Ukrainians being told by the British government, and they were stupid enough to believe it, that they could beat Russia. Yeah. It shows you how thick the Ukrainians are, they actually believe that. And one of Benjamin Netanyahu's government ministers is a Ukrainian. That's why Ukrainians suck up the arse of Israel and can't stand the sight of the Palestinians. That'll be the real reason behind that. But then saying that, they're all racist anyway. So it's of no surprise to me that he has a Ukrainian minister in his government in the first place. Yeah, the views expressed in this article are the author's own and do not necessarily reflect Al Jazeera's editorial stance. Al Jazeera, don't be cowards. You have to put that on there. Why are you afraid to tell the truth? Because everybody, majority of people in the world prefer lies. They prefer the lies because it's more comfortable to them. So Al Jazeera finds itself in a situation where it has to write a statement like that. Yeah, fuck that. No way. The people that don't like the truth always show themselves up anyway. Especially little numpties that are nobodies on social media. They post all the crap that they choose to believe, not necessarily do believe, but choose to believe. Because it makes them feel a bit better about themselves and about their surroundings and everything else, and about life in general. These are very weak individuals. Yeah. Yeah. Truth. Yeah, truth is something that's hard to come by these days, isn't it? It really is. Bloody hell, man. Because all the people who are in control of social media are the people who don't like to tell the truth. Yeah. And they're the ones that will shut you down. Because they're the ones that are in control. And that's deliberate, obviously. Of course it is. Yeah, all the big names. They're all there. We all know them all, don't we? Especially when we're on here, we definitely know Google. Yeah. X. That's Elon Musk. I'm not sure about him. He wants to. He's already stated that on X anyway, and he's ready to go over to speak to Netanyahu and his government. He has spoken to them all about being involved in rebuilding Gaza. That's the way he put it. But it won't be rebuilding Gaza, because there's not going to be Gaza anymore, and Gaza's gone. There was a woman on TikTok about 4 nights ago, and she is over there, and she managed to get onto TikTok, and she said that herself. Gaza's gone. There is no Gaza. What you see in the photographs, that's what's left of Gaza. Yeah. Imagine putting up with all that for 75 years. Born in your own country, living in your own country. All your ancestors have been born in that country. And everybody just puts up with the invaders, treating them worse than animals for 75 years. Beggars belief, really. So they must have thought, the Palestinians must have thought at some point there's going to be an end to this. So what's their end game going to be, you know? What it was. I mean, away back in the older days, going right away back to America again, the Red Indians, what did they do there? They just kept annihilating them until they were all gone. They didn't do that this time, though. They hung about and picked at them one at a time, causing them misery and hell for 75 years. And probably the Palestinians probably thought they were always going to be there. But you know, Zionism being what it is, that's not how Zionism works. When they take over somebody's territory. And it's always a territory that is worth a lot. That the individuals who actually own it, i.e. the Palestinians, they've got all that gas in the Sea of Gaza, not the Sea of Israel. And under Gaza itself, on land, they've got 1 trillion cubic meters of natural gas under the land itself. But they'll get a hell of a lot more out there that Israel's already tapped into years ago. And Israel's been selling it all around the world for years. But not to the EU. But once all the Palestinians are gone, apparently the EU is going to get an unlimited supply of gas from the shores of Gaza, now renamed the shores of Israel by the Zionists. But that won't happen until there's no more Palestinians in Gaza. When those oil companies signed those 12 leases, gas leases, gas companies, gas exploration companies, including British Petroleum Public Limited Company, amongst others. On that same day, someone from the EU was over there in Israel, Tel Aviv, and they also signed a sort of statement. It was only a statement, though. It's not legally binding or anything. A sort of agreement between Netanyahu and the EU that once all the Palestinians are no longer there in Gaza, then the EU will get an unlimited supply of gas, natural gas. How much that's going to cost them, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, all the Zionists had to do, I mean, that's the thing, it's the Zionists want the money. I mean, the easiest thing in the world would have been to say to the Palestinians, don't take over the land. Say to the Palestinians, we've discovered all this natural gas here and everything else. Can we bring in our oil, our gas companies and oil companies to explore that, the possibility of drilling it and getting it out? That's all I had to do. Instead of buying it from Israel, they'd be buying it from the actual people that actually own the bloody thing. And they'd probably get it cheaper from the Palestinians than they would have done down the wall do from the Israelis, I can guarantee you that. But you know, it's a done Zionist deal now. There is no way that the EU's ever going to get cheap gas from Israel. Are they fuck? Cheap my arse. Do you think for 1 minute that Israel's going to sell them that gas cheaply? Yeah, they know how much the EU needs it. Well, the fuck. They'll put the price way up. Palestinians, of course, if they were buying it from them and there was no Zionist rubbish, Israel, then I can guarantee you they'd have got it at a much cheaper price from the native people because they're not greedy, as we all know. Yeah, they don't have any banks. They never built any banks or any bollocks like that, because they didn't go into that. They were quite happy living the way they were living. And it's always people that get picked on by Zionists. Always the weakest people in the world that just don't have any armies. If someone with an army, like, let's see the Zionists starting a war, I want to see that with both China and Russia at the same time. Let's see how clever, let's see how brave our Zionists really are in this world. Let's see America and the UK pit themselves, and France and Germany, by the way. Yeah, Germany's siding with this Holocaust of the Gazan people. So let's see France, Germany, Britain and America pitting themselves against Russia and China combined. Without using nuclear weapons, that is. Let's see who's got the biggest brawn with no nuclear weapons involved. Because that's not even cheating, that's just stupid, you know what I mean? Let's see who's got the biggest brawn here. The Zionists or Russia and China combined. Anyway, the Zionists, as I say, I'm talking about France, I'm talking about Germany, I'm talking about Britain, I'm talking about America. Let's see who's got the biggest brawn. Let's see who's got the biggest military muscle power here. Let's see who's got the most intelligence. Let's see who's the smartest, not the dumbest. Anyway, I'm out of here again.